When I was 15 years old, I thought I would never get into a relationship. Hi, I'm Clara, I'm 28 years old and I'm the author of Stay Gold, an almost healthy boy in a mostly healthy world. Daniel and I met when we were 17 years old. We were classmates at Tampines Junior College. We took theatre studies together and we both took bus 81 to go home. So Daniel was born with a condition called tetralogy of Fallot, which means there were 4 structural defects in his heart. So at 14 months old, Daniel went through open heart surgery. Thankfully, it helped him lead a normal life for most of his teenage and early adulthood. And he told me about it just one random afternoon in the school library. I didn't think much of it because Daniel was quite healthy at that time, even though he didn't do PE. When we talked about it again, he said, when I was 15 years old, I thought I would never get into a relationship. That if something were to happen to me because of my condition, then it wouldn't be fair to my partner. So it was only then that it really struck me that whoa, something could go wrong with his heart at any time. Every day he had in life was, it was something to be treasured. Daniel and I broke up after 5.5 years. Well, we decided that we wanted to stay friends. I was going to graduate from university soon and Daniel was awaiting his second open heart surgery. I would always be there for him. In the last few months of Daniel's life, he was in and out of hospital. The doctors were trying to figure out what was the right cocktail of drugs to give him that would help. I like to write these story-like captions on Instagram, and one day Daniel saw one of them and he texted me and he said, "You should write a book." And then I said, "Well, why don't I write about you?" Because we both recognized that Daniel's life was quite remarkable. He said, "I want the world to know that even sick people can contribute meaningfully to society." And it struck me that, despite how maybe to some people he's known as the kid with the heart condition, he just wanted to live a normal life. A couple of weeks before he eventually passed on, I went on a trip to Nepal, and on the last day of the trek, Daniel had taken a turn for the worse. He told me that the doctors think it's a matter of days. So I flew back from Nepal the next day, and he asked me, "Why did you come back from Nepal?" And in my heart, I was like, because I wanted to see you while I still had the chance. I told him that I would finish the book that we started. He was surrounded by many of his relatives, his close friends, until he passed on 2 weeks before his 25th birthday. Stay Gold is told from the perspective of Daniel, Daniel's family, and also groups of people or individuals whose lives he touched. One of the stories that I wrote about in Stay Gold is one of Daniel's friends in university who was struggling with a drug addiction. Daniel said to him, "If you are bored, call me. If you want to get high, call me." And it was all based on the simple premise that if this guy was hanging out with Daniel, then he couldn't be doing drugs at the same time. Daniel's accomplishments were nothing earth-shattering, they're nothing that would make headlines. But I think in life, the biggest legacy we leave behind is the way we touch people. And that's how Daniel's impact remains. Because so many of us, we hashtag YOLO on social media, but we live as though we're going to survive till we're 80. We think that we'll have time to make the things we want to do happen. But Daniel didn't have the luxury of that. If he wanted to do something, then he better do it today because he might not get a chance to do it tomorrow. I guess if there was one message I want to convey, it would be what Daniel wanted people to take away from the book, which is that sick people can contribute meaningfully to society as well. Stay Gold is dedicated to Daniel, and in the last line of my acknowledgements, I wrote that, "Because I knew you, I have been changed for good."